Craft Club, Craft Club. Oh, we're all gonna craft at Kevin's Craft Club summer camp. You will craft and I will craft and we'll all craft because it's summer camp. Craft Club, summer camp, Craft Club. Ooh na na. Shooba doo doo. Scuba ba. Shooba la bo. Scuba da ba. Shoo-ba-doo-boo, it's summer camp, scamping at summer camp, camping, glamping, whapping, yeah! Ooh! As I continue to do the pushpin sequin unicorn. The weirdest craft I've ever done. I wouldn't even consider it a craft, I would consider it just a random thing that you could do. Putting sequins with a pin and into some kind of weird design. Sequence by numbers, and this will go straight into the trash when I'm done. And I know y'all are like, you know, you have to reuse it. What if you donated it? Could you imagine I go into like an unhoused center and be like, hey, I have something I'd like to donate, and they'd be like, what is that? And I'd be like, exactly. So don't roast me in the comments for throwing this straight into the trash, because this is going straight into the trash. Just pins and sequins. I don't know. Listen, I gotta get to work because I have a lot of sequins to pin into this. I have a lot of sequins to pin into this unicorn. How are you all? How is vacation going for you? Are you doing anything fun this summer? Tell me in the comments. I would love to know. I personally am not doing anything, as I've said, because I don't like people. I don't like going out. I don't want to see the world. I do not want to see the people. And it's also because I used to do that as a job. I actually toured for a long time. And so I get really sick of traveling. I get really sick of the things like waking up early, getting to the airport, then going through check-in, then fighting people to see if I got oh, you know what? The sequence like dropped the pin out. The hole's too big for the sequence after all that. So there's design flaws in this too. Okay, I'm gonna poke myself. So I don't like going through the whole thing, and now it just gets worse and worse every year with the idea that like corporate greed is just making the whole act of travel terrible. The whole act of travel is terrible now because you get to the airport, and then it's like, oh, it's the baggage. It's the baggage. Because then it's like, oh, I brought a carry-on. Okay, but we've run out of carry-on space. Air Canada is the worst for this. I'm going to call you out, Air Canada. I know you're one of my 300 views. Air Canada, you are the worst at this. You get to the airport, you have your bag. You intentionally didn't check it because, you know, that would cost more. And then you get to the front door because, you know, you didn't pay for first class. You get to the boarding door kind of near the end. And then they've cut off like 50 people in line. And they're like, sorry, we have no more overhead space. Okay. But we will check it for free and just put it to the next. You could have done that in the first place. Why didn't you do that in the first place? Why wasn't it free in the first place? And also, if everybody is bringing one bag, everyone's allowed to bring one carry-on, right? And then one carry-on for under the chair. Then why is there no space in the overhead? Where did that space go, honey? Where did it go, Air Canada? You don't have enough overhead space for all of us. That's a lie. Get on board and put more overhead space. And then the worst is you get on. You've checked your bag and you've got on. You're walking down and you're like, wait a minute, there's all of this overhead space. You lied to us. You guesstimated, right? You guesstimated that. You were like, oh, I think there's no more space now for the last 50 people because on the last flight there wasn't, right? Or whatever. And then I'm walking down and I see all of these spare places where I could have put my bag, but now I don't have access to my bag. It's not even having access to the bag, to be honest, because I usually just have enough for under the chair. Also, that's the other thing. There is a social contract. You have one big carry-on that you put in the overhead and one carry-on that you put under your seat. Don't put your coat in the overhead. They say that. They say don't put the coat in the overhead. I'm giving myself hives. It's making me mad thinking about it because, listen, they didn't say two carry-on bags where you could put both in the overhead. One is supposed to go in the overhead, one is supposed to go under the chair, and if it's small, you put it under the chair anyways, honey. Sorry. No backpacks in the overhead. This is where we are as a society. You want to get on board, get on board. But this is why it doesn't work. Because people are like, no, absolutely not. My bag is so important. I'm more important than everyone else. And that is what I think about travel. Then you get to the hotels. Here's the thing. After the pandemic, I was already a little bit of a germaphobe, but after the pandemic, I'm full on germaphobe now. Even in my house, when I get home, I take all my clothes off and shower. I shower right away when I get home. I don't even sit on my couch if I've been outdoors in the jeans that I'm wearing or the pants that I'm wearing. I'm that crazy now. But I've noticed that hotels are just worse and worse cleaned. They're just not clean the way they used to be. And I think it's because, again, corporate greed and people just not wanting to pay people to do the job properly. And so they're not doing the job properly and, they're understaffed, etc. I'm not blaming the workers. I'm blaming the company for having low standards because they just want to maximize the money, minimize the workforce. Listen, there'll be AI next. They'll find some way to make cleaners AI. Can you imagine? It's like those toilets. Those outdoor toilets, not outdoor, but outhouse kind of toilets, but in the city. And when you use it, then you leave and the door closes and then it's flooded with chemicals and water. You have to wait a minute in between because the whole metal contraption is closed and it's now being sprayed with water and chemicals between each person that happens. And could you imagine that was our hotels now? They're these metal contraptions, they close the door and they just spray, terrible chemicals. But I am a terrible chemical person as far as cleaning. Because I see that in my comments sometimes. They're like, well, what you could do is you could use an all-natural, nope. Nope. All-natural cleaner, nope. No. Cleaning needs the worst. Cleaning needs the craziest of all of the chemicals because we need to get rid. Nothing should be alive. No germs should be alive. Nothing should be able to survive my cleaning supplies. So if that was the case with hotels, but that's not the case with the hotels. So the past couple of hotels I've gone to, even though they were nice hotels, they were not clean and you can tell. And then I also wonder why hotels want to use certain materials. Some hotels use fabric furniture, for instance, but the type of fabric you can't clean and that it's not being cleaned in between people. Are you going to sit on a couch that people could have potentially, gone to the bathroom naked and then sat on the couch? Listen, I don't do that, but I don't know if they did that. They could have done that. They could be sitting on that couch where you were sitting with no underwear on after they pooped. Let's be real. People are disgusting. Including me. I'm disgusting, but I keep it in my house, hun. I don't sit on my couch. I literally just said that I don't sit on my couch if I have outdoor jeans. Could you imagine I sat on it naked after I pooped? Please. And then it's just I always have travel stomach. I don't know if y'all ever have this, but I have travel stomach problems where no matter what, I find it hard to go to the bathroom. I get constipated. Because I flew or whatever. That's why I drive. I like to drive to places. This is the thing. So when I have to fly, especially overnight, because overnight are the cheapest flights or early morning flights, I always have travel tummy problems. And then you get there and then you're not enjoying any of it. And then I go to the place and I'm like, why did I go to this place? Because it's also like, I'll be honest with you. I actually used to be very adventurous and I used to go out and like be like, but I would have to convince myself too. I'd be like, Kevin, you're in Miami. You have to go to the clubs once. You have to try and meet people. This is your chance to be somebody that you're not, like where you are now. Because I'm very guarded where I live usually, and I'm very private person. And so it's like, okay, I'm gonna be very extroverted. I'm gonna go to these things. And then I go to them and it's literally just me self-talking. It's like me being like, okay, you're having fun. This is what humans do when they go out. This is what humans do when they go to vacations. They go out and they meet people, they go to clubs, they party, they drink, whatever, right? And I don't enjoy any of those things. And that is a thing that comes with age where I realize I just don't like these things and I shouldn't do the things that I don't like because that's what people told me I should do because that's the vacation that people are having. Does that make sense? Or is that crazy? It took me a long time to get there though. The last time I went somewhere was to Whistler. As you saw, I have a little shorts reel TikTok. They're all the same, whatever. Shorts reel TikTok? Okay. I have a little shorts reel TikTok of me going to Whistler. And it was, I wouldn't say it was the best vacation, but it was like, okay, I got in my car, you know, at a reasonable hour, I think like 10, 11 in the morning. I wasn't sleepy from not sleeping, you know, I got into the car. I drove like, it's not that far. How far was it? I want to say it's like 2 to 3 hours. I also stopped in between because there's a little place called, that's my sign, fell over. It's a little place called Squamish. I stopped in Squamish. I got some coffee. I took a break. I took a pee break. That's the other thing. That's the other thing about going out because, you know, pee breaks. There are not always available toilets everywhere. So I'm like, okay, I got to stop, take a pee break. Took a pee break. Had a great, you know, coffee at the local coffee joint. Can't remember what it was called. And then went up to Whistler. Just walked around the village. Didn't do too much. Didn't go overboard because I knew what I liked, right? Like I knew that I didn't want to go overboard anyways. Then ate a bunch of stuff, walked around the village several times, got steps in. There's a little bit of a foresty area too, so I felt like I got like shopping, city, and then foresty area. And then I went back to my hotel. And then I just slept. And the hotel was like, you know, had a lovely view. I won't lie. It wasn't the cleanest it could have been. But my standards are so incredibly high, as you know. And so, you know, but it was a good time because it wasn't a stressful time. I think we stress ourselves, or I stress myself out going to vacations because it's like, oh, I want to see this and this and do this and this. And then like we have to get on the flights and, you know, nothing is right. The cheapest way to do it is like the worst time in the morning, the worst time in the day. And then I just don't enjoy the vacation. It takes me a lot to enjoy and get comfortable. I also don't sleep in very well in general, but in beds and rooms that I don't know, it takes me a while. Like if I'm at a hotel for a couple days, maybe night 2 or 3, I'll have a great sleep, but night 1 will not be a good sleep. So then I'm like the whole time with the vacation, I'm not having a good time. But maybe that's just me and I have to get over it. And it's just one, or not even get over it. I just have to accept that I'm accepting that I don't like vacations. But tell me in the comments if you're going on a vacation and what you're doing, because I would love to know. And I will continue to do these push pins because I have so many more to do. This might be the rest of the series, by the way, just pushing sequins into pins. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. of Craft Club, Craft Club. We're all gonna craft at Kevin's Craft Club. You will craft and I will craft, and we'll all craft at the summer camp edition of Craft Club edition.